Little snow squall blow through here. 0% chance of snow today, and cold, and just had a snow squally blow through.
Yeah, I woke up to a little bit on the ground.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Ah. Yeah, that was like a pretty good post you just put there on Facebook.
Which,
The Creditor?
The idea of the Creditor?
Yeah.
Like an idiot.
I know, right? People just aren't... They can't see. I think they have a hard time differentiating about division. Just the idea of division, because they think it's whole, I think. But, you know, in trust, yeah. I mean, in trust, yeah, you want to be the creditor, right? But...
All right, but again, I think a man that owns his life doesn't have a fucking trust.
Exactly, right? So there is no division, which is the wholeness of it all.
Yeah, that's what I'm really gonna go super hard on that shit. Next this week with the industrial property.
Yeah.
Because I just posted for the group or the class people, a couple of documents. Obviously, the industrial property document. But I posted what I think is the greatest article ever written by a so-called patriot, and it was written in like 1997 by Alfred Adass.
Oh?
It's called The Evil Twin.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there it is.
But, I mean, that's the greatest article ever, and, he was so close way back then. And, because he's talking about, well, I'll let you read it. I posted it, but, that's the best article I've ever seen in my life about the concept of the evil twin. He was speaking specifically about a trust position, but I mean, if you know that if there's a piece of property that they've divided or subdivided and created a trust off of it,
right?
When you realize that the whole thing is a farce, that's what I'm getting at. Is all you have to do is collect or claim your side of the fucking equation, which is life, which allows you to then retaining your title, which is what you thought was your name to begin with, which is, in my case, Curtis Richard Kallenbach. Now, obviously, that's not a name. That is a title to something, but it's a title to something.
Right.
And without that title, without that having legal title in possession or in your corner,
there's a trust.
There's a trust. There's a split.
A division, yeah.
Yep, and that's where all the problem is because now somebody else can lay claim to it. But also there's something worse than that, is that if there is a trust, then there's a fiduciary capacity. And I don't fucking want a fiduciary capacity because there is no beneficiary and trustee positions.
No.
Not to my life, there isn't.
Not as owner, not as
not
a claimant.
Not as a single man, not as a fucking man of one single position.
Exactly.
Why do I need an executor over my own existence?
Exactly. Even as it constitutes yourself, even. You know what I mean?
My government is all internalized. It's all I'm all self-contained. I don't have anything external to me.
Right. And if you do act, you're acting exclusively with wholeness at all times.
For this property, the product of this property, the energy of this property, it's all fucking mine.
Exactly.
People want to believe that there's this collective position where everybody gets to claim everybody's shit. That is so horrifying to me.
I think that, I think you're right with that, tearing down that construct of division in its entirety. Because, when you get to the root of it all, it's just a man standing there. That's it.
With his responsibility as well as his talents or skill sets. It's his responsibility.
Right.
When you produce offspring, God damn it, they're not my problem. You fuck something up, it's not my problem. I went over this last week where all of a sudden the collective, one man does something wrong, everybody gets punished.
Yeah. Yeah, we just talked about that yesterday.
Fuck that. I'm not going to fucking be punished for your bullshit.
Exactly. In the big scheme of things, ultimately you're not. It's just that big scheme got induced into another scheme. You know?
I don't care about any of the fucking schemes. I mean, look at how simple this is. I'll take care of my shit. If I fuck it up, I'll be responsible for it. I'll eat it. I'll do whatever. But I don't expect anybody else to fucking save my ass.
Mm-hmm. That's right. So you better be prudent.
Well, the only one that can be prudent over his stuff is the guy, the man.
That's right.
You know, I mean, so take your time, fuck it up. I don't care what you do, but do not expect me to come and save your ass.
Right.
Now again, if I produce offspring, my daughters or sons or whatever, they're looking to me.
Right.
Until they're looking to themselves.
That's right.
And and you know what? I can either be a fucking child all my life and produce more children that are always children forever and need somebody else to tell them what to do. And that's what they've done. They've created a goddamn society of children.
That's right.
Waiting for goddamn saviors and all kinds of other people to do stuff for them. I'm so disgusted with this fucking idea. Nothing bothers me more than a collective mindset thinking, well, fuck, get it together, man. We all owe each other everything. Fuck you. I don't fucking owe any. Listen, again, the best thing I can do for you is not become a burden to your fucking life.
Well, you know, an easy way to expel that whole idea is, you know, my heart beats only for me. That sums it all up. I mean, my heart don't beat for you.
And when my heart stops beating, there's nothing. There's nothing there. I mean, and that's the Alpha and Omega. That's the point of my beginning and the point of my end, is when the spirit leaves my heart, when it leaves that place where it lives. By the way, and again, the more I do for myself, the more I have to offer for others.
If you have it in your possession to do that. That's right.
Well, no, what they've done is they've removed the ability to do anything by administrative process. Now, in God we trust kicks in. Fuck that.
That's right. I mean, well, you're God, so yeah, they trust in you to fucking provide, right?
Well, I mean, but the whole in God we trust on the fucking dollar and all that bullshit. Who's managing the God trust?
Well, this is it. This is the whole crux of the thing. See, but it all really comes down to division. If there is no division, there is no trust. If there is no trust, then why you got my shit? And if you got my shit, just give it back, and I'll look after it.
And I'll look after it, yeah, because you know what? You're not doing a very fucking good job.
No. See, but they're actually not bound by any fiduciary because they've put everybody else in that position as trustee. So
that's exactly what they did. So now they get to go and do anything they want, and you get to be an extension of a trust that really doesn't even exist. And then you act, and then you go, in God we trust. Again, fuck that.
I know, right?
You know, if I trust in God, I trust in myself, but I'm not going to put my shit into a fund or into a trust where I'm letting men call themselves in God we trust manage my shit.
That's right. They
fly around on fucking private jets and act like goddamn royalty. You know what? They're not using it on my dime.
That's right. See, that's my biggest problem with the whole thing right there as well, man. I have a hard time with the concept of, you know, you're not doing a very good... It would be different if you were doing a good job and an honorable job with virtue.
Yeah, but now you're going down that slippery slope again because you know what? It's not their responsibility no matter what. You know what? That's abdicating your throne, saying if they were doing a good job, I'd let them rule over me. Bullshit.
Well, not so much rule over me, just...
over your property.
Yeah, just look after it.
Why would you allow anybody to do anything over your property?
Well, the only thing I'm getting at there is the fact that, you know, they're in different positions, you know what I mean? Like, you know, like a business. Some people are advertisers, you know, some people are producers, some people are architects that allow products to even come to fruition. That's what I'm talking about. You know, everybody's got a little piece. Not any one man has all of the pieces, you know what I mean?
Right, but I have all of my pieces.
Well, that's right, you do. And another guy who has all of his pieces, and he just happens to be an architect. You know, right? Well,
again, yeah, and that's the whole thing, though, is I don't have any problem. The only way I can get something other than my own, it's like this. I should probably do this next week, too, but an artist, a painter. He paints everything, and he's incredibly gifted.
Yeah.
You know what? He can either keep all his fucking paintings in his own house But then again, he wouldn't have a house, would he? Because he probably is painting, and until he trades one of his paintings to a construction guy that builds the fucking house, he doesn't have a house.
That's right.
He has to exchange his energy for the energy of others in order to get something other than what he produces.
See, and that's the whole idea of the trust, but it's so far beyond. I mean, it's just straight up trespass on everything.
All they can fucking do is provide the medium of exchange.
That's right.
They cannot provide the energy.
Mm-mm.
So when a painter paints a painting, that's his skill set, that's his gift, whatever you want to call it, and that's what he's trading. And so he only through the means of exchange, whether you call it a fucking dollar or anything else.
See, but that is
now
the trust.
The builder comes over and builds the guy a house because he's exchanged a painting for his labor.
That's it. See, and that's what they consider the trust, that medium of exchange.
No, but there can't be a usury aspect to it either.
No.
They're extracting and that's the whole idea here is that when we give it all away and say, but that's what's happened is everybody's given everything and said, just take care of me.
Right. See, and it's that extraction. See, if there was no extraction, it would probably be a well-oiled machine. But I mean, it's the extraction of all of the fruit that is the problem.
If all you did was take the true management fees out of there,
right,
which is what a fiduciary would do
right,
or be entitled to, what they're doing is they're taking all of it and then doling out, or they're saying, what do they call it? Redistribution of wealth.
Right.
They're saying, oh, well, you guys, since you all want to be equal, we're going to treat you all equally.
Right.
So we're going to give you all the same shit.
That's right.
We're going to take all of your talents, but we're going to redistribute it so everybody's equal. So we're going to create this character where it is all free or all equal under the law. That's citizenship.
That's right.
You know what? No, that doesn't work for me because again, if I'm producing something greater, then I should receive the commensurate value of that. If 1 million people want what I have, I need to trade my one for the 1,000,001. Now I do get more, but you know what? I'm producing more.
Yeah, and it truly is. It truly is. Only if somebody wants that. You know what I mean? See, and that is fair. Let's not use the word fair, but that is the mean market. You know what I mean? That is the true natural balance right there.
That's the real market.
It is. I mean, it's a fair market.
Supply and demand.
Supply and demand, that's it.
Or demand and supply. I mean, seriously, if I make one painting and everybody loves it, I may only have one painting. They can't cut it up. There's only one painting. But I can paint another.
Yeah. Or make a print.
And if somebody likes the style of painting, they're going to buy them all. It's pre-sold.
See, and therein is the thing itself. If you only made one painting and it's an awesome painting, but anybody and everybody's only got one unit, they can't even be auctioned.
Well, then now it's to the highest bidder.
Well, there is no bidder because everybody's only got one unit.
No, but they can collectively buy it. They can say, okay, we're going to pool all our shit together.
Yeah.
Into
a group
museum or something.
That's
so
right.
1 million of us wanted it to see it, so we're going to put it into a museum.
Right.
So 1 million of us put in $1.
That's
so
right.
$1 million buys the fucking painting. I get the $1 million. You get the one painting.
That's right. That's
put
right.
Into a museum.
And they collectively acted as one buy.
Yep.
Yeah. See, I agree with that. Because that is the true market condition. That is supply and demand, and that is the market.
10 million cars on a park coming out of a factory that nobody's buying.
Oh man, there's.
No, if it was truly supply and demand, and people actually, there wouldn't be 1 million cars, 10 million cars rusting on a fucking parking lot.
No.
They're even taking up space because they wouldn't.
There's no need. There's no need, right?
They wouldn't exist.
That's right. Well, they can build a fucking 1,000 cars a day or whatever. You know what I mean?
They should be building cars that people want, not building cars and then forcing people to buy them.
Yeah, or see, but the only reason they're building them is to keep people even working. That's why they're just sitting in the field rusting right now.
That's why it's completely unnatural system. It's all bullshit.
It is all bullshit.
It's all bullshit, and you know what? Now I'm calling it bullshit. So, and now you're truly looking at a welfare state deficit because they're producing products that are unwanted.
You know, there even you know, just in this what we're talking about right now, there's probably enough cars just sitting, rusting, doing nothing throughout the entire freaking world that almost everybody on the planet could probably have one. You know, that is responsible to use one. You know what I mean? You know, like an adult. You know, there just is. I mean, there's millions and millions and millions.
What you're describing right now is the true present moment energy, everything's paid for system.
That's it. That's it. You know.
And when again, the car is already built. The energy that went into it is already provided. Everybody that could drive a car could be driving a new car, probably.
A brand fucking new one. You know what I mean? And we know that it has a shelf life of say 5 years, and then it's junk. Okay, after 5 years, they all go into the fucking chipper, get repurposed into metal again, and start again. Everybody gets another new car.
So they're charging, let's say, $30,000 for an average car. The average income in America is probably $40,000. Do you realize that if they gave you a car every 5 years, and I mean, in lieu of $40,000 income,
yeah,
but, you know what I mean? But you got a new car,
right?
So you're now you're looking. Oh, wait a minute, that almost seems like a barter system. You know, and that's what's funny about this is ultimately what they're doing is they're extracting all the value within a barter system through the means called Federal Reserve note.
That's right.
They're taking the usury out. They're still only providing whatever it is you want, but they're taking the middleman's taking out all the fucking energy.
That's right. It is disgusting. I agree fully with that. It is disgusting. I fucking hate it. I've always hated it. That's why I went to piecework.
Yeah, I'll take fucking piecework.
You know, I get paid for what I do.
Fuck yeah, you know what? I'll get paid by what I produce. Now, what you think I'm worth per hour.
That's right. That's right. And you know what? I've been a pieceworking probably since I was like 17, my whole life. I've never really had a full-time job, and if I did, it wasn't for very long, a few months. And then back to piecework.
I hate trading my fucking time. You know what? Again, I would rather
work 4
hours a day.
Yeah.
4 hours a day, get 8 hours or 12 hours worth of work done that anybody else does. Walk away with, in other words, 12 hours worth of pay in 4 hours.
That's right.
And then have 4 more hours during the day to go play golf or do something fun.
That's it. I mean, what do you believe that you're worth? I mean, that's what it all comes. I believe that if I can, you know, but then again, you know, they've now dropped the prices on everything, so they're manipulating even that piecework idea.
Right.
But you know, if something's worth $100 and I can do 500 of them, that's my worth. You know what I mean? Not fucking $2 an hour to do it, and somebody else. See, and this is where they extract all the energy. Because you're producing more.
Yeah, you don't find any value in their own existence or their time.
Yeah, they're extracting what everybody believes they're not worth. You know what I mean? For working for that $2 an hour.
Again, though, look at how easy is it to go fill out a fucking form, get the job, and show up on Monday and get a paycheck on Friday. You don't have to be responsible for anything.
Yeah, no thinking involved at all.
Well, and for anything. I mean, some jobs come with insurance. You don't have to do anything. There's no risk. That's
right. You know, I was just talking with my buddy there, my other good friend, the only friend that I got in the area, about. Well, I used to work with him. He's an old guy too. You know, he's like 66 or 60. He's turning 66 next month. But he was telling me about how there's a union now in the area for drywallers. You know, and then we were talking about that, and I remember he was saying back in the day that he went down to Boston and was doing some union work, and they showed up on the job, and you know, they went in like they're just working, you know what I mean? And they put out like 100 sheets in that day. They hung 100 sheets. And the foreman of the union establishment that was on site, he says, he gave them all shit. He said, dude, you can't fucking do that. The maximum you can do is 30 fucking sheets. See, and this is where the union comes in and says, no, man's worth more than that, and okay, you say he's only worth this, okay, that's great, but now we're going to differentiate it all, and we're only going to produce this by our contract with you to produce anything, you know what I mean? So they said maximum 30 sheets, that's it. You can't do, if you can do 30 sheets in 3 hours, you get to sit down the rest of the day. If there's an electrical problem and you can't pick up that screwdriver and move that little thing. You have to wait, and you have to call the electrician now, who's also the union. You know what I mean? And so it's a tough call, that whole thing, but the union in that instance says, no, man's worth more than the fucking piddly dollars that you're going to give him, and extract all that extra from him, and we got a contract that says, no, you only want to pay that much, okay, you only get this much work.
Yeah, and then you're right back into the same idea.
Same idea it is.
So the union now is in there doing something for you.
They're extracting.
And now you got to suck the dick of the union.
That's right.
I can't stand any of that shit.
Yeah, I can't either. It's a scam.
And then, of course, the union guys are all wearing $800, $1,000 suits.
That's right.
And they don't do anything.
Nothing. Where do they get, where do they that's the usury. And that's, I was watching a show the other day about, these game wardens here in the state, and they're trying to protect these little birds, and that's all fine and good. But there's this one old guy, that's his only job. There's only like 50 nesting fucking birds on the coastline of Maine. And this is his exclusive job as a game warden, to protect this little fucking bird. And they showed him, and he's just walking. He walks up and, oh, we better investigate this, you know what I mean? So he's making, I don't know, $60,000, $70,000, maybe $80,000 a year to look at little bird nests that are like no bigger than a fucking lighter. You know what I mean? And this is his job. And who's paying for that? You know what I mean? The bird looks after him.
Wish you had a job that all you did was walk up the fucking bird nest and make sure people that... I mean, come on, man.
I know, right?
The guy's he's a beggar.
He's a yeah.
He doesn't exist without somebody giving him shit, because it doesn't mean anything.
It's a make-work project, right?
It's a make-work project. It's just bullshit.
It is bullshit.
The whole goddamn place is a welfare state where people... You know what I mean? If it was really a supply and demand thing, this place would be beautiful. There'd be no fucking junk in the street. There'd be no goddamn drugs on the street. There would be no heroin addicts. There would really be none, because why are people involved with fucking heroin to begin with? Do I like heroin? I don't know. Maybe I would love it. But the point is that heroin, it replaces the very thing, your essence. It fills a hole.
Yeah.
That would not be there. If you were fucking expressing the essence of your existence, you would be living a joyful life, and the very thing that heroin fills up in you would already have been filled by you expressing yourself.
And there's no need. Then there's no need, right?
And so heroin wouldn't do anything that you weren't already doing for yourself.
That's right.
You know what? When you're fucking happy, you don't do heroin.
No, there's no need.
Yeah, because you already got all this shit. I mean, the stuff that heroin gives you artificially, you get by expressing your essence.
Right, and when you're not, you got this void.
You got a void or a hole that needs to be filled. It doesn't matter whether it's love. It doesn't. I mean, that's the point, is that when we are who we are supposed to be, when we are ourselves, my God, there's no more beautiful position. People, abrasive as you could be. But if you're at your core,
See, but that, you're talking some deep psychological stuff now. Man.
I know I am, but it's simple.
It is simple.
It's simple, man.
It
Just be
is.
yourself at the root. If people love you no matter... I don't give a shit how abrasive you are, because you know what? It won't be malicious.
Right.
Some of the greatest people I've ever known in my life were the toughest to get along with. It's because they were so goddamn honest.
That's it, see, and people, that scares people. People are afraid of that.
So straight. My dad was like, God damn it, the dude is so straight.
That's it. I mean, it's black and white. That's it. There is no in between, man.
But everybody thought, God, your dad was, man, he was just really tough. No, he's fucking not tough. He's honest as hell.
That's it.
And people can't stand that shit. They don't want to hear the truth. You know what? You look like a jackass with your pants down that fucking far.
I know.
You know, man, fuck you, man. You don't know what I'm fucking cool. Fuck you. You look like a jerk off.
Yeah.
You know what? I mean, you're embarrassing yourself and you don't even know it.
I know. I know.
That's what I mean. Just simple shit.
It is, but you know, this is what they create. You know, back in the late 1880s, I think, is when they hit that psychological warfare on man and his mind. You know, and they just, man, they've really fucked them up pretty good. I mean, they're starting to change it now, but it's bad. It really is. I never agreed with any of it. Any of it, ever.
Man, but again, people, you go to the root cause. I mean, you start thinking, man, heroin is such a problem. It's not a fucking problem. I don't even care about heroin. Maybe I would do it and love it, but you know what? I don't have all the holes.
No. See,
I don't have the whole lot that needs to be filled.
That's right. See, and that's really what it comes down to. I mean, and that is the crux of it all right there. You're trying to fill something.
Heroin addiction. No, it's because the young kids are now no, the young kids have fucking more holes than anybody. Their families are gone. They've disintegrated. Their friends are fucking superficial Facebook friends. There's no substance to their existence. Are you kidding me? They need to escape through a chemical because there's no substance.
That's right. That's right. That's it in a nutshell, right there. All of it. But how do you fix it? Well, is it for me to fix? I don't. It's not my fucking problem.
You start telling the truth and living it, man. I mean, that's the whole thing. Is that what they've done is they've created a facade of a superficial mirror image world that has no substance, and it doesn't. You can't feel it, man. There's nothing here to feel because you need substance.
You know what? I woke up the other morning, and in what I heard, or what was in my tip of my tongue when I woke up was this is what it said, and now this can go in a lot of different ways, you know, in just about every avenue of being. It said keep the bodies out of the water. Keep the bodies out of the water. See, now this talks about what we're doing. It talks about, you know, the esoteric thing. So what? And then
it also means out of baptism.
Yeah. I mean, it means just about anything. So what's the element of water? Emotion? See, this is what I'm been thinking. But after it said that, and you know, keep the bodies out of the water, and then it said asexual. Asexual. It means, you know, basically hermaphrodite.
Yeah.
You know, where you're not, you know, you just, it's not even that whole polarity. I guess you could break it down to its root. The sexuality is the difference of polarity. So now you got bodies with no polarity.
Well, there shouldn't be. I mean, because I don't have a polarity.
Well,
my physical body does, but I do not.
No. See, and then there you go, right? And so I've been thinking about that a little bit, and it's like, you know, because it kind of fits into everything.
Absolutely it does, but again, the physical body has no polarity, or the physical body does have polarity, but the I am does not have a polarity.
No, it's a singular.
So at the highest spiritual or conscious level, you know, that's where. See,
now, is that mental, you think? Or I don't know. I mean, I've been trying to, I mean, it kind of is mental. It's kind of physical. It's all of it conjoined together. And I guess maybe it's just, that's the root of it. You know what I mean? Keep the body.
Well, the thing about it, too, is I've had some buddies that, guy friends that you love so much.
Uh-huh.
You know, that's the I, you know, just connecting with another I.
Right.
There's no sexual aspect to it at all.
No.
So, and you don't even want to use the word platonic because that's a divisional term.
Right.
So it's just love.
It is.
I mean, and so I really love my buddy so-and-so. You know, you said you loved another man. Well, fuck yeah, but that's the I speaking.
Right.
Now, on a physical level, as a man, you know, now you're looking at it from a different perspective. But,
that's right.
But even that's my point, is that, see, at the high conscious level, there is...
It is asexual.
There is no sex. There's no sex as we know it.
Yeah, because there is no division. It's just the master of them two polarities, which is the unity of the into the whole.
And
right?
that's man. Man is both male and female. So there you go. The love of man is asexual, and it's pure spiritual. But the physical body, you know, I'm not attracted to fucking dudes at all. You know,
yeah.
I can appreciate a guy in great shape, but I'm not attracted to it.
Right. See, that's how I was explaining it to my wife. So I don't have no desire at all to, oh, look at that hairy ass. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And you know what? And chicks, you know, chicks dig certain shit like that. Because that's the other side, that's the polarity. So,
right.
So again,
it's fucking weird. It was pretty weird because it goes into a lot of different directions, you know, and every one of them's right. But the bottom line is what you were seeing. I never really pieced that together like that, and that's awesome that you said it just like that, because, you know, love is asexual.
Yeah, but I is. There's no substance to I.
Right. There is no.
I mean, so there's no substantial polarity. I don't have substance. My physical body is substance.
Right.
And it has a polarity, and it goes towards the opposite, the polar opposite, which is female. So, I mean, but I myself do not have a polarity.
See, now, maybe that's the psychological key to help everybody come to this understanding of this non-division that we were talking about earlier. You know, that whole asexual concept is no division in that at all.
No, there's no division in the non-substantial, meaning that, I mean, I can't subdivide nothingness.
Right.
I have no substance.
And it has to be the master over that division. It has to be the master.
It does.
And it is.
Well, I mean, if I was not, if I was allowing the body or the flesh to rule over the I,
right,
then there would be raping and there would be all kinds of animalistic bullshit going on, which is the case in all over the world in many places.
That's right.
Where the masculine dominates the feminine, where there is no conscious I. That's the highest level of consciousness is where you realize these things. It's so simple.
It is. I'm glad I mentioned that, and you talked it out with me, because I mean, you made that sound perfect.
It is easy, and it is perfect, and that's why the thing is that your physical body as a man, as a male, you know, is drawn to the polar opposite, or the female, but the I
doesn't give a shit.
Doesn't give a shit, and
it just loves you. It just is.
Yeah, it can love everything. It can love nature, trees, you know, men, women. It can love all of it, because the I is the consciousness or the oneness of all. But the physical body is separate. That's what I'm getting at. Is my physical body produces certain things. It can produce intellectual property or physical property or progeny, genetic progeny, and the product of my body, the substantial, the substance, is that's my kingdom.
That's right. See, now that's actually the perfect way to dispel the whole freaking thing, that asexual, and that don't let the bodies hit the water. And I'm assuming that water represents motion, which is emotion, which is the identification of the two polarities, right?
Well, yeah, because emotion is... I mean, think about what you just said. First of all, our physical bodies are 85% water.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I mean, the motion or the emotion, the thing that gets this body to move, is typically of the flesh. I mean, so I'm hungry. I need to go eat. I got a boner. I need to go do something with it.
Yeah.
I mean.
But I mean, that's just the way it is.
But I'm talking about the physical body.
Right.
And so the flesh, the body makes demands that the mind has to either override or act upon one way or another, positive or negative.
Right, and
so
it's the heart, the I, that tells the mind how to respond to either of these impulses.
It's both the heart and so you got love and reason tempering each other.
Right.
Tempering each other. Well, I mean, if you just let love go wild, you're going to go do your neighbor's wife.
Right.
Or act upon shit you shouldn't be acting upon.
Right.
You got to let reason or the mind step in, or you know what I mean. And then the overriding I. See, that's what's really weird. Is the overriding I is nothing more than the observer.
That's it. See, and that's the key right there, and that's how everybody needs to be. You need to just be observing. See, and you know what? That's what all the Buddhas and Krishna. You're just an observer here.
Right, but you got it. I mean, the mind has to control the desires of the flesh, but the needs of the flesh, not desires, but the needs of the flesh have to be met. So the mind, in other words, I can sit here and starve. You know, my body's demanding food. My mind has to figure out how to get it.
Right.
Whether I go into with a gun into a grocery store and steal a bunch of shit and rob the place, or I figure out how to produce something of a value that I can exchange for the food.
Right.
I mean, again, the mind or reason says this is how we should do it. The body says I'm hungry now, so I just run into a liquor store and rob the place and get some cash. But what I'm getting at though is all of this stuff. The body's making demands that the mind has to figure out how to fulfill. And seriously, the I is the one that oversees all of it and says, come on, folks.
Right.
Let's work together here, man.
As the master manipulator.
As the master.
Right.
I mean, so I am the master over both the mind and the body, the intellect and the substance.
Right. See,
We're not.
That's some serious psychology right there, man.
Yeah, but
not really.
It is pretty simple, but you got to be able to sit here and see it. You got to know. Listen, man, I truly am in complete control of everything.
That's right. See, but
I don't fucking entrust any aspect of my existence other than governments are instituted by the consent of the governed. I decide. I think I was born here. I have the ability to do this, and now you know what? I'm allowing myself to participate in this other thing, but I'm expecting them to do their fucking job at this point.
Right. That's right.
Which is to protect my private property.
Right. I have land here, and there's a lake further up, and it just keeps flooding my land. Okay, Mr. Government, I will allow you to, to build a dam.
Or you're supposed to protect me from erroneous claims upon, because listen, I'll put myself out productively, and then this place will become greater because I'm going to produce shit.
Right.
But I expect you to protect what I produce and make it possible for me to exchange on a larger scale with other people that produce. Now, don't take my shit and give it away. Right. Because that's not the agreement.
That's right. See, and that's what Trump was saying the other day in that address.
I probably would love to. I mean, Trump to me, and again, I probably sound more like a fascist than most people because I myself don't agree with anything communistic. Right. Nothing. I will work at the highest level to have something to exchange. But right. But you know what? Once you start taking my shit from me and giving it away, I quit producing completely. Right. I have no interest in producing anything that's going to be taken from me.
That's right. That's right.
I might as well just be like everybody else and say, fuck it, you know what? I don't have anything to produce. I'm just like everybody else now. You've taken all my desire, my will. You've taken everything that means everything to me. Right. Away from me, because I already know in advance you're going to take it from me and give it to somebody else.
Which goes right back to, keep the bodies out of the water and that asexual. Because at that point, with the desire, you're no longer the observer because you're trying. You know what I mean? Now you've lost that will to do anything. And now all you really can be is the observer.
Yeah, that's
See, but
what you
we're
got,
creators.
because, yeah, you can't do anything. Your ability to create has been taken from you. Your ability to experience anything that you create is taken from you.
Exactly.
And now you just sit back and say, fuck it. You know what? I'm doing nothing.
That's it. That's it. You ever see a movie called Little Buddha?
God, I'm not even sure if I've ever heard of it.
That's a pretty neat little movie. Little Buddha, it's called. That's a pretty neat little movie.
Is it fairly old?
Yeah, it's well, probably
80s, 90s?
Yeah, late 80s, early 90s maybe. Little Buddha. They're trying to find the reincarnation of the Buddha, because Buddha died, and so they're scouring. They know he was born again throughout, however they know that, but so they're looking the planet for the reincarnation of the Buddha, you know, and but the story of the Buddha is expressed in the storyline, and basically he is that observer. He is that asexual. As he's sitting under the tree, you know, he's confronted with the sisters, you know, the 7 sisters, you know, of the Pleiades, you know, of desire, of will, of all of these things, you know, the virtues of man, and so he let go. By letting go of all of these virtues, he became asexual as just the observer, you know. See, but how, you know, I don't know. It's you know, that's quite the mind warp there too. How do you sustain?
You know, when I was learning about the concept of suffering, you know, I choose not to. I mean, you know what? I actually, that's not necessarily true, because to me, the greatest suffering is not expressing the essence.
Right.
That's because. So, in other words, as much as I feel like I would have to offer, my suffering is that I refuse to give up the very thing that I was given, or the skill set, or the talents, or whatever that I have in me for nothing.
Right.
There has to be an exchange. I will produce all kinds of shit, but I need it for myself to exchange for other things that I want. So I have.
Or you need, yeah.
Well, whatever, it doesn't matter.
Whatever's required.
Whether it's a fucking want or need.
Right.
I mean, I know what everybody needs the same things.
Mm-hmm.
Everything beyond the need is a want.
That's right.
Oxygen, probably shelter and food and water.
Right.
Those are probably the only real needs
that any man ever needs. That's right.
Right.
And those are the 4 elements, right?
And then everything beyond oxygen, water, shelter, and food is a need, or is a desire. So that's, we all need exactly the same thing, but it's beyond that I myself, I think there's probably something. I think the system that they have in play is probably pretty amazing. If we weren't deceived from the beginning,
right?
You know, and they wanted to control the production of everybody,
right?
By administrative process, you know what I mean, by a trust process,
right? See, but I'm coming to the belief that the whole thing was created because they seen the nature of man.
I'm with you on that.
You know what I mean? And the nature of man, he's
around,
a fucking animal. See, but there should be checks and balances along the way that, you know, when somebody aspires higher than the norm, then he's observed and known, and here you go. Here's your next position. Now, should those guys that created all of that, should they be the controllers of who gets to be observed and move to the next level? No, I don't think so.
Well, wait a minute. The guys that actually have that knowledge, I mean, and the heart as well. They need both the reasonable and the love.
Right.
But and again, there is such a thing as tough love. In other words, it's just called truth. But,
which is nature.
Which is nature. It just is what it is. But what's funny about that, though, is their fucking offspring, their own children, may be the ultimate fuck up.
They are.
So they don't get to just move into mommy or daddy's slot. They kind of, I mean, if they're not worthy of it, they shouldn't be there. They should be right where everybody else is. The problem
born with the silver spoon.
Yeah, a fucking nepotism allows people that have no skill set, no ability, nothing, to move right into their fucking parents' slot, through, you know what I mean, the posterity.
Succession, yeah. That's right. That's absolutely right. And, because you know what? None of them would survive without where they're at. I mean, they got no fucking skill sets for anything.
Not anymore, they don't.
I mean, what the hell is the queen's son, the prince, or whatever? What the hell can he do?
He's been educated at the highest levels, but you know what?
No experience.
He could still be absolutely a null set.
Yeah, I mean...
No fucking heart, no real reasoning skills, nothing. He was taught nothing but privilege.
That's right, that's right. Silver spoon fucking people. See, I don't agree with that either, because you haven't earned nothing.
Well, some of the royalty, some of the dumbest fuckers ever have had all that authority.
Mm-hmm.
Real fuck-ups. And you know what, that's because where they were born, and nature wouldn't allow them people, and a lot of them fuckers would never have even existed if nature were allowed to.
But that's the entire Congress. That's the entire...
Yeah.
Maybe not so much these corporations, because, these guys had to learn stuff coming up. But a lot of, all of their progeny, that's all silver spoon shit. Those kids, however far back that goes, those guys don't know nothing. They've never had the experience. And unless you experience, you got no wisdom.
Yeah, the hard part for me is that, am I a failure at the level, meaning that if I would have gone ahead with Squared Away and had $1 billion company and been at the top, and basically bought or produced my way into the club.
Yeah, I don't think you'd be where you are today.
No, not. I wouldn't be who I am today.
No, you would have probably let that slide.
Well, I would have been where everybody else. Bill Gates. A man that produces nothing more than the Microsoft system, which is amazing, or whatever he did. Now he's fucking doubling out vaccines. The man that created Microsoft, what the hell is he doing with vaccines in the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation?
Right.
Seriously, what gives him the ability to know about vaccines when he just put out a fucking computer product?
I know. The two just don't fit, do they?
They don't fit, and you know what? What they do, they do fit when you realize the people at the top are telling them you're gonna be the murderer, and you're gonna be the one. If you want to live at the lifestyle that you've created for yourself, your soul belongs to us, and of course we know how that is through the name and all that, the title and everything.
Uh-huh.
But if you want to continue to live at this level, then you will do as you're told.
Right, or we're just going to...
Or you lose it all. Look at the court cases back then when he was about to lose everything. I think he just signed off on everything, and now he gets to live through the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, which they're allowing him to live as a billionaire.
Right.
At this point, or whatever that value is.
Right. See, yeah, and that goes back to what I've been saying right along is, people just don't become billionaires. Those people that you didn't just become a billionaire. You had some very high up mucky mucks that allowed you. Which is just like the presidency. Everyone's been selected by guys way above them.
I think in business you can get to the top, and then once you get there,
I don't think you can, man.
I think so. I think because there's no motive otherwise. Bill Gates was a fucking numbskull down there and working in a garage.
Oh no, they'll let you make money, but billionaire status, I don't know. Because they own all the industry that allows your industry to do anything.
No, but they need completely let you believe you're doing it.
Yeah.
And they're not helping you, by the way. I think what they want is they want the results of the product that you're going to bring. So the slave that doesn't think he's enslaved, he's going to go and move on everything because he thinks it's for himself.
Right,
so he takes all the risks to get to the fucking top. Bill Gates had Microsoft, $100 billion was coming in.
Yeah.
That's when they said, oh, by the way, you don't own your fucking name.
Right.
And now all of a sudden he has nothing.
That's right, and it's pure allowance. That's it.
And that's what I'm getting at is that his father's name, Colin Curtis Richard, is the split in the trust. When you can pull yourself together, Bill Gates would be the richest man in the world if he owned his own name.
Yep.
But he doesn't. When they said, oh, by the way, you don't own anything because it's through a name that we are leasing to you.
Right. Right. And by the way, your lease went up. It's now everything that you've produced and you know,
yep.
Margin call.
It's a margin call. That's exactly what it is. By the way, now you can't even afford your own name because the value of your name is so great that you cannot even afford it, and it's ours.
You know, it's funny, you know, thinking about it like that, because all these mucky mucks, they all said, you know, own nothing but control everything, and so what did they do? They put it all in trust. See, I don't know. I don't think that they even know this stuff.
No, they don't.
Which makes me think that, you know, and the only way that it can be protected, any and all of their assets, is if it's in trust, which makes it off limits to anybody outside of that trust.
That's what they've done. They've created. They don't know the I don't believe they know the mechanism.
I don't think so either.
That the church created. I mean, whether even the timeline, the Anno Domini timeline, the birth name, I already know that belongs to the Roman Catholic Church.
Yeah,
There's no doubt in my mind that that's a piece of fucking trust property.
Well, it is, and if everything's in it, then everything's in it.
But that's because we think it's our name.
Right.
See, I know that Curtis Richard identifies a different position altogether. It identifies the whole, meaning mom and dad's DNA. Curtis Richard only identifies the maternal.
I'll tell you what, man. That would be the most beautiful theses in you know, just this content would be the most beautiful theses ever written.
It would show the direction of the property claim.
Mm-hmm. Right to the beginning.
All the way, at least back to 1582.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then before that, it would show that the human creature, the thing that was created by man as opposed to created by God, let's say, the spiritual man or spiritual man. I mean, that's what's funny is the spiritual man.
And it all goes back to those three trusts, right?
Yeah, that were created after the 1302 statement.
Right. Exactly. See, that was the beginning.
And the thing is that the man stands outside of that fucking dome.
That's right.
All the shit that's in the so-called trust, call the trust the dome. Under the dome is the fucking trust.
That's right.
The man is a man is outside of that. So all he is you know what I mean? But what he needs to do is control. I think of it as you're a fisherman.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. So you're a man on the shore. Well, you're dry, right?
Yeah.
You're on the fucking shore. You cast out. You're using a bobber. You cast the fucking bobber line out into the river, and I mean, look at this though. Here you are, the man on the shore. You got a fishing pole in your hand, but you have a line that links you out to a bobber.
Right.
And the bobber is your fucking name.
Right.
And then and underneath the bobber is a fucking worm and a hook.
Right.
So whatever it is you're producing, that what you're trying to do is hook somebody with your idea, or you know what I mean, but it's connected to your name. So the fish bites the worm, which is whatever you produced, and now it's hooked. And of course, the bobber is the name over which all the product is. So look at this though. The man is attached to the name by the line.
Right.
Which is the fishing line, which is ultimately the succession. And so he reels it in. He brings his name back to him.
And look, there's a fish on there. Look
and under the name is something that feeds you.
What a great concept that is. You should really express that.
But look at so the man is on shore. He's not even fucking wet.
No.
But out in the sea of commerce, he pulls back something that he can trade. I got a fish, but I don't like fucking fish. You know what I did? I took the fish that my name caught or created. You know what I mean? And I took the fish to the market, and they traded me a fucking TV set.
Right.
Now the man who's not wet because he's not in commerce, now he has a TV set at the house because he went out and he figured out, you know, he's going to go cast again. He's going to go out to the fucking sea of the river of commerce, which is tied to the sea of commerce. He's inland, and what does he do again? He throws his name out there, you know, and some other idea, which is the worm on the hook, and somebody bites that. And now he fucking reels that back to him. He goes, "Hey, look what I got!" And now and the fish is whatever you want it to be.
Can you recall this here little thing you just said there? Because I mean, that is probably one of the best analogies of it, in its true form, right there.
But
and it's biblical.
Look how beautiful it is. The man is the man. The name is the fucking bobber sitting on top of the water.
Right.
And then, of course, the line is extended.
Everything produced.
And so whatever, so underneath the name is drywall.
Yeah.
So the drywall is the fucking worm.
That's right.
And somebody calls you up and says, Joe, I need 30 sheets of drywall hung. And you go, okay.
Yeah.
So he calls Joe, in other words, the name, the bobber.
Right.
You go do this thing, and then you reel in the product of this, and so whatever's on the hook, whatever the value is he traded you for, you're drywalling.
That's right.
So you reel it in, and you get whatever that exchange was. I call it a fish. So now you take that fish, whatever he gave you, $1,000.
Yeah.
And you trade the $1,000 for something you want. I said a TV set.
That's right.
So now you threw the bobber the name, and what the name involved, drywalling.
Yeah.
See, you're able to get what you want. So now you're fucking feeding your family, fishing in the Sea of Commerce, but using the name of the bobber that identifies your position on the sea. Never, by the way, it doesn't go underwater, does it?
No.
Only when you have a bite. But what's funny is it stays on top of the water, and that's your fucking name. That's your vessel. That's your ship.
That's right. What a great explanation that is, man. That's a really, you need to recall that. I can send you this audio if you want.
Yeah, that's it. But I mean, that's how I think. So because the man he's never in the fucking sea.
No, he's on, but he's tethered with that line.
By the fishing line. That's
right.
The thing. The line is succession, and the succession is your father's name.
Right.
So it's your father's name that is the line, and all the way back. And the fishing, the lure itself is your father's name. So realistically, the bobber, what they've done is they've created a commercial vessel, which is the bobber. It has your father's name in it, but it's at the wrong end.
Right.
It's at the last part of it. So Curtis Richard Kallenbach is the bobber. The man fishing would be Kallenbach, Curtis Richard.
See, I wonder if there's any significance to the color of a bobber. I mean, what are they? The red and white.
Red and white. Well, now, the white they've changed over into what? They've changed it over into what I call a United Nations yellow.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Holy shit, man! Just even that in itself. That their little idea right there. I mean, and it's all working together.
As long as you know you're not the fucking name, you're not the vessel, you're not the bobber. I mean, all of that stuff. See, the man never gets wet.
Right. That's right.
Fucking never gets wet.
What an awesome freaking concept that is, dear. I love it.
Well, it is Saturday morning.
It is Saturday morning.
It is sunny out.
Is it? Fucking
it is
cold
here.
here.
But I mean, yeah, it's pretty cold. But I mean, see, that's how simple this shit really is.
It really is. You know, when you sift through all of the nonsense and get to the truth of the matter. You know, whatever that might be, whether it's substance or idea, like you just expressed, or whatever. I mean, it is what it is.
And what's funny is
the
hook is actually the exchange. You know, I mean, so if you really look at this, if you can picture on the left side the man standing on the shore, and you see him holding a fishing line and of course, or fishing pole, and of course the line comes off the extension of the pole, and then out there a ways is a bobber, and the bobber's first, middle, last.
Yeah.
Now what's funny is underneath the bobber into the water, there's a line drop down and there's a hook, but on the hook is a worm. The worm is your skill set.
Right. That's
called drywall hanger.
Right.
And so what you're doing is you threw it out there, and now a fish comes along that needs your drywall skill set, and bites the hook, and all of a sudden there's a phone call through the name.
Right.
And you pick up the phone and say, hey, I could use 100 sheets of drywall hung.
Yeah.
And so now that exchange, the fish itself, is what you've exchanged your drywall being the worm, the bait.
Right. The labor.
The labor, or whatever it is you have. You could be an artist. I could be painting. I could have paintings on the wall of my house. I hang a painting as the worm on my hook. Somebody calls me up and says, "I love that apple in a dish you have on the kitchen table." Oh yeah, that's for sale.
Yeah.
And so they exchange a value that I can. So I reel it in. They bite the hook. They want the painting, I reel it in, and now I have something in my possession that I can exchange. They gave me $10 million for my painting.
Yeah.
They ate the worm, they got the painting, I got the $10 million fish. I take whatever the $10 million is, and I take it to the market, I do whatever I want with it. Now I exchange the fish that I got
right.
for the worm that I put on his bait, which is my painting.
Right.
And it's all through the name, Curtis Richard Kallenbach. The bobber showed me that there's a hit on my fight. This is so ridiculous to me.
It is ridiculous, isn't it? See, but I mean, it's about making it simple. I think the way you just come out with that, I think that's as simple as it can get, really, for people to get. You know what I mean? Because everybody can relate to fish or fishing.
Now the river. Or the sea. I like the word river better because, see, the rivers are inland,
right.
And the rivers do connect ultimately to the ocean.
Right.
Now the thing is all the water is commerce.
Right. The current.
It is commerce though. It's the sea of commerce, but the man is not in the commerce. He's not in the water.
Right.
He's using his name to identify his position in commerce because it stays on the water and he can see it. But underneath his name is his skill set. It's the thing that he actually has to offer the fish. The thing that he's trying to hook. You know, if I'm trying to get a TV set, I need to trade something.
Offer and acceptance, huh?
But I put the worm, the thing that I put on there as bait, is the thing that I have the skill set for, whether it's painting paintings or hanging drywall.
Right. That's right.
And somebody comes along and bites the hook and says, yeah, I want what you have. And it's all through the name or the title, because the title is the title over the skill set.
In the Bible, does it say fishermen of men or fishermen of man?
A fisher of men.
A fisher of men, that's right.
But isn't that, it's sort of thinking about it. You show your thing out there, and if somebody wants what you have, you can reel them in, you pull them in, or, it could be the opposite. Remember that it's the same thing going on the other side.
Right.
There's another guy on the other shore.
Something I want, that's right.
That has a TV set on his line, and you bite it with your drywall.
Right, that's right.
And so now he's reeling you in, because he calls you or you call him,
right?
And say, hey, listen, I got $1,000 in my pocket, and I'd like to buy your TV set.
Right. Exactly.
So everybody's got a fucking hook out there.
That's right. See, but who has the capacity of the bobber? See, and that's really what it comes down to.
When a man proves life,
he's got the bobber.
with his bobber.
That's right. See, that'd be funny to say that, just like that.
Because, again, there's no man on the shore fishing, because he's not alive.
Mm-hmm.
And again, so in other words, the man is attached to the bobber that's in the sea of commerce, the water, that's allowing. Without the bobber, there is no bait. There is nothing there for you.
Right.
If you don't have access to the bobber, i.e. your name, there's no way for you to catch anything because you don't have access to it.
Right.
If you throw a line out there without a bobber, somebody's going to come along, some forest preserve guy, and say, do you have a license to fish in that water?
Right. Yeah. See, that's funny stuff right
there. But if you have a bobber, you have what? A registration. Right. So now that name is registered back to you, and now that is beyond a license. It's not a license. It's actually your property. You have a right to be there. If you don't have a bobber registered to you, you need a license for permission to stand on the shore.
See, that's a funny concept, because I was watching, they got a Maine wildlife enforcement or whatever, TV show, and I was watching it, and this dude was just standing on a little creek bridge and fishing, and he ended up catching a bass, and sure as shit, the game warden goes up and oh, well, you got a license, blah blah blah. And so he took the fish off the hook, and he's mucking around with this little fish because he'd swallowed the hook, and he's trying to rehabilitate the fish in the water because the guy didn't have a license to put the fish back in the water. The fish ended up dying. The guy got summoned. Had he have produced a registration for him right there, wonder what would have happened. Well, obviously,
a license is not required then because he has the authority to be in the United States.
Right. So, I mean, ultimately, we can fish anywhere.
I think as long as you have a registration which ties the bobber back to the man on the shore,
right?
I honestly don't think that you need a license for anything.
Well, why would you, right?
Not if you have a registered bobber.
That's it. That's right. See, it's just a new way of expressing the same thing, but I mean in a manner that I think people will get that easily.
It's not bad because if I talk about a salvage boat, I mean people don't. I mean, a salvage boat is the bobber. It's the same damn thing, but the bobber is so easy. It's so manageable. It's so small.
Right.
People, when they hear salvage boat, they really can't see. I mean, because that's what the Jesus fish is. There's a salvage boat over the top of your productive capacity.
Mm-hmm.
Your productive capacity is drywall.
Right.
So your name over the top of that is your salvation. You have this thing that you can produce or do for your own life.
Right.
And so now the salvage vessel, Curtis Richard Kallenbach, over the top of my skill set is what makes it possible for me to live.
Right.
If you take away the vessel, the name, over my skill set, I no longer have the ability to produce the fish for myself.
Right.
And if you're the administrator over my bobber, then anything off the hook, anything that goes onto the hook, it has to go through administrative process before it gets to me.
Right, because it's all been claimed through eminent domain.
Through the name.
That's right.
And that's why Jesus is Savior. The bobber is your fucking salvation. If they have the claim to the bobber, everything on the fucking hook goes through the church, and then there's a benevolent society that hands it to you and goes, oh, you're welcome.
Right.
But I'm the one that was fucking fishing. Yeah, but you're welcome because you didn't have any rights to your name. But now, through the church, we're going to give you the product of your own labor.
Right.
Through our benevolent hands.
Man, I think you can touch every heart out there with that idea. To tell you the truth, I really think you can. Because it's so simple. I mean, that is very freaking simple. I mean, because it's not a really complex idea. It's just a man fishing on the freaking shore. Everybody's fished. Well, not everybody, but I mean, at least people have seen pictures of people fishing, so they got the concept,
Well, look at that too, though. Is now the bobber is either with the man. I mean, you brought it, or the bobber belongs to somebody else's administrative process.
Before you even get there.
He just goes out. I mean, now all of a sudden you're going, wait a minute here. Either you're fishing without a bobber, without your name.
Right.
So you have no claim to anything you pull ashore.
Right. In fact, you really have no right even possessing a fishing rod.
You're a stranger. Who allowed you on my fucking land?
See, and this is really what I was noticing in the show, because the guy has no right to even be on the bridge. Actually, no man, unless you're here, no man has a right to do anything, to even exist. You have no right to even exist.
No, you don't.
On the land.
Well, and if you have not claimed that point in time, that birthplace,
the useless eater, right?
Now you're not even here, and now who the hell are you fishing on my land?
Right, and anything and everything that you do. See, and this is the crux of it all. Anything and everything that any man does, unless you're here, You have no right to do any of it. You don't even have a right to breathe unless you've made that claim.
Just prove to me who you are.
Right.
I got this. That doesn't prove anything. That's a license. And a license is nothing more than permission to do something that would be otherwise unlawful.
Right.
So who the fuck are you?
Exactly. That's
You don't have any right to anything you're doing right now. That's permission by somebody else.
That's
Where is
concept.
your ID? I want to know who you are.
Right. That's a simple concept right there. I think a lot of people would catch on to that.
Well, we'll see what we can do.
Well, I mean, it really is. I mean, it's a beautiful expression of it. Because in essence, that's all it is, right there. You know, but brought down to earth concepts of, you know, maybe not so intelligent people.
Yeah, well.
Well, it's complicated. This is complicated stuff, you know, because, you know, if you haven't done that introspect, then you know, it's hard to tie all the pieces together.
It is. I know that, but I mean that's why I always try to make it as simple as possible. But the funny thing is that it expands before it gets smaller again, and so it gets hard before it gets easy. In other words, it's darkest before the dawn.
It is.
And it seems a lot more confusing, and all of a sudden you go, oh my God, it's light, it's easy.
Right.
I can see it. I can finally see it. And
but only in the simplicity of it, you know, because
it really is simple. Who is it and who can prove it?
Really. See, but until you can't even fathom that idea until you get mentally in the place where that idea exists.
I might maybe I'll just do a real simple drawing.
Yeah, well, your ship idea was it as well. You know?
Yeah, that's the man identified. You know what? That vessel, the vessel gets confusing to people because they don't realize that the name is a vessel in and of itself, in a fictitious realm.
Right.
So the body is the vessel of the soul, but the name is a vessel in commerce.
Right.
So the word vessel gets confusing to people.
Right.
If I put the fucking name on a bobber out there, and of course the man is standing there, and now all of a sudden you see a bobber on the water, and it has Curtis Richard Kallenbach, you realize that Curtis Richard Kallenbach is not the man.
Right. Right.
And the bobber's on top of the water, so the bobber is not in the water.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see your little drawing.
Well,
your little stick man.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to figure out how to draw that.
Your little stick man, dude, out there with. You better have a baseball cap on, because you know. It gets sunny and you got to see into the water.
Well, there's another way to look at it too. See, is if you're fishing off of a ship of state.
Yeah.
See, that's really what's happening is that in the Sea of Commerce, the United States has its own vessel.
Right. See now, yeah, there you go. So now you got.
And so I'm fishing off of the vessel, the commercial vessel known as the United States.
Right.
And so now I'm actually standing on this giant boat that's flying the flag of the United States.
Right.
Of America.
With his pole in hand, but now that pole in hand is also tethered to the guy on the land that happens to just have divested himself out onto that ship, who's now fishing in the water with his bobber off of the ship, catching the fish.
The boat came from the land.
Right.
The boat came from the United States of America, so that's where it actually is in port.
That'll be
but out to sea, it's commercially deep vessel.
Right.
So as long as I'm on that boat, I need to have secured my position on the boat by owning land over there.
Right.
You know, on shore.
Right.
So that's what gives me my position on the boat, on a commercial vessel. And so now I can fish freely from that vessel, and everything I pull in off that bobber with my name goes to me. And because I'm productive, so all the fish I pull in while I'm on that boat,
yeah,
also benefits everybody else.
Right. That's right.
So realistically, I have a piece of land over there. But and where the boat came from. The boat came from over there on that land.
Right.
And so it identifies the United States of America.
That's
so I'm on a United States of America vessel out in the water. I'm fishing from it because I have a right to be on that boat.
That's right.
because I own a piece of land within the United States of America.
You got the Confederate Army on the land, and now you got the the United States military, or not, well, Navy, I guess. See, and everything goes back to the Navy.
Well, ultimately, I believe that the United States is a maritime republic.
Yeah.
All based upon the Sea of Commerce, but I need to secure my position on the boat of the United States of America, and if I don't have a claim to a seat on that boat, I can't fish from there without license.
Right.
But if I do have a seat on that boat because I own a piece of land in the United States of America, then I have an automatic seat on the boat, and I don't have to produce a license. Man,
that would be such an interesting mural. That whole
mural, that would be cool.
That whole idea that we've just talked about, someone could draw that. I mean, that would actually be one of the coolest tattoos that would ever be.
Oh yeah.
Identifying the entirety of everything. You know what I noticed the other night? You ever watch? I was watching a movie, The Italian Job.
Oh yeah, that's a pretty fun movie.
Yeah, it was. Well, after they're over in Venice and they were stealing the gold, and they blew the roof and floor and
it fell into the water.
And it fell into the water. Well, the policia or whatever, they come in and they're all around, but these guys, they transferred the gold from the safe to these submersibles, and then they were pulling it, right? Well, I noticed in the movie, all of that land that Venice is built on is the continental shelf, because it shows them going out, and then all of a sudden it just drops right off into like the abyss. And I was wondering about that as continental shelf, and the idea of the continental shelf, because Venice must be, and it can't be that deep. The water can't be that deep at the continental shelf in Venice, because these buildings are all attached.
But you're thinking in real world substance, aren't you?
Yeah.
Hey, think about this. What if the continent of the United States of America, North America, what if the continental shelf is actually a library shelf?
Yeah. Well, yeah. Holy cow.
No, and that's the shelf, the continental shelf, that the title of the book of your life is on.
Yeah, see, what an idea.
So within the continent known as North America or South America, there is a continental shelf.
Right.
Of substance, identifying land within the continent.
Yeah, housed within District of Columbia.
So now the continental shelf is the Library of Congress.
Right. Holy cow, yeah. I mean, that makes 100% sense. I'm
just throwing it out.
That idea.
Because it's just an idea, but I mean, again, it doesn't have to be necessarily that the actual continental shelf 200 miles offshore or whatever, but it could be, because they could be depositing the waste material. They could be actually literally depositing the afterbirth waste material out there just on the continental shelf.
Right.
Where it becomes a deposit, a silt deposit.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And actually physically becomes part of Manhattan. Maybe they're dumping all the fucking afterbirth in creating Manhattan. Maybe I'm trying to be almost funny about this.
Well, Manhattan itself is a garbage dump.
Yeah, but maybe that's what they're doing. Maybe they take all of the afterbirth material, burn it up in a incinerator, and then truck it over to Manhattan and keep adding on to Manhattan Island.
If you I remember watching this movie back in the day. Old. I forget what the name of the movie was, but how that's what they did. That's where Manhattan came from. It was all the garbage from inland got trucked out, and they built the freaking island,
But Manhattan is also part of New York.
It is.
and New York is the Big Apple.
Right.
And maybe the Big Apple is exactly the apple of my eye, or the you know, doesn't everybody want a piece of mom's apple pie?
Mm-hmm.
Well, maybe the afterbirth is literally carted off and deposited in Manhattan. So the stock share itself, the stock issue, actually identifies a piece of land in Manhattan.
What if Manhattan is the chorion of the afterbirth itself, attached to the wall called Continental Shelf? You know what I mean?
That's what I'm getting at. Is they could be taking all the waste material of all the hospitals,
mm-hmm.
and first burning it so it's light, and then going on and depositing it in a plate underwater, or part of Manhattan Island, and then there's a piece of stock which is a deed, let's just say, to a piece of land somewhere. I mean,
right.
If you incinerated all the afterbirths, I mean, there's not a whole lot. I mean, realistically, it wouldn't be that much volume.
No.
Couple of square miles, maybe, of all the people ever that since 1933.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Probably not even. I mean,
they could have a single 1 mile square monument over that one area.
Maybe it
where
is.
The monument represents all the people.
The Statue of Liberty, maybe.
Ever delivered.
Statue of Liberty?
I don't know. I'm just saying that, see, they can do this and it becomes true.
Right. Yeah.
Take all the substance of all the people born, all of it, and burn it up, then cart it off, and then bury it in this one place, and put one monument over the top, a memorial.
Yeah, well, I mean, Statue of Liberty. When did the Statue of Liberty make it to New York?
No, that's like 1886 or something, but I don't think that's it. I think that there's another monument somewhere, another memorial, that identifies all of the unknown soldiers or all of the whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And what I'm getting at is I think it's possible that what they're doing is, in order for them to do what they do legally, it has to be true.
It does have to be true, and you're right. There probably is somewhere. That's a pretty interesting topic.
But I mean, all you have to do though is to claim the reality of it, which is the living man position.
Right.
And all of their nonsense is negated because they're not going to tell anybody that this is what they're doing. So you could, and once you find your way back to last comma first middle and tie that bobber back to you, first middle last.
Right.
I think you've captured every aspect of their game.
When was do you happen to know when Minnesota 220 was written?
No, I don't know. I mean, you can go in again into Title 46, I think, shipping, and it's in there too.
Yeah.
So I would guess that it probably popped up somewhere around the same time as that.
Right.
I would guess probably.
Because something, I mean, in order for them to do something, they have to create remedy. It just has to happen because they're taking something and they got to give something.
Right, Article 38 of the Libra Code. I mean, again, assuming a man hasn't fled, then he's going to be indemnified.
Right.
And to flee would be to abandon or to do exactly that. So my point is, I think that when you lay claim to the man position, which is last comma first middle, and you lay claim to the bobber that's out in the Sea of Commerce,
right,
or what would be the vessel, the ship itself, I think
there's nothing outstanding at all.
There's nothing outstanding. And
right.
I don't mean claim it in that way. I just mean attach it to you,
right,
to where now the vessel
there's
is
a line.
By the vessel, the bobber is secured by the man, and the man secured by the man's fed by the bobber.
Right.
So the vessel or the bobber is secured by the man on the land, but the man on the land is fed by the bobber, which is the name. Right.
Yeah, I mean, what an interesting concept that. I mean, I really think a lot of people will find a lot of great. I mean, that'll close a lot of doors for a lot of people. I think. Just that idea.
I think if you're far enough along where you can understand that the name and that the title is not your name,
mm-hmm,
and that there are two separate positions. The Sea of Commerce is not for the living man, and the living man is never in the water.
What's the heat map look like of your students?
What's the what?
The heat map. I mean, where do you think the the conscious capability is with these guys, as opposed to Kooksville.
It's totally different.
Is it?
Yeah, I think so.
Consciously, you mean?
Yeah, I think that the people
more astute at Kooksville, right?
Well, I think that these people were listening to what I was saying, and the Kooksville was more. It was a great experience, but all that was me babbling about interesting ideas that nobody's considered, or very few people consider.
Right.
Simple things to me, but very odd for most people. I mean,
right.
I always think like this. I envision everything immediately. That it was so easy for me to pull that damn bobber idea out, because I see a man on shore not getting wet.
Right.
And what was he doing? He was using his skill set to draw something to him. Because that's what was feeding him. Your skill set is what feeds you.
That's right.
So, and the bobber's the name that stays on top of the sea, whereas what you're offering is the worm.
Right.
That's your skill set. That's what you have to trade with whatever bites the hook.
See, but the people that you're communicating with, on your 1 to 3 or 1 to 4, after the fact, you'll say your bit that night before. The next day you're going to get emails or calls or whatever. What's the in your opinion? What's the level of the comprehension of it? On
a scale of 1 to 10, I still think it's only 5.
Yeah, about half.
There's some people, I think, and I think there are. Don't get me wrong. I'm saying as an average.
Right.
Because the people that just want the answer, the paperwork, they're not really listening.
Yeah.
They're thinking that they're paying money basically for the paperwork. Right. That's what they're probably, most of them are, because they have something going on, fire burning somewhere that they're trying to put out.
Right.
So they're thinking, for $650 or whatever, they're going to be able to put out a fire. I don't make any guarantees. Again, if you don't understand this shit, it ain't going to help you anyway.
No. A couple questions would just throw you right off base.
Well, you don't know why you're doing what you're doing, so it doesn't matter.
Exactly. When they test you, you're not going to know nothing.
Well, even whether it's an IRS case or anything else, I honestly don't believe that the paper's going to make any difference unless it's tailored or tapered exactly to your position, and you know why you're using the words you're using. Right. It doesn't matter.
Right.
I don't care what this is reality. This is total reality, and
I think this class thing idea that you're doing is. You got anything lined up after this one? You should be. And you know what? And the way you're laying it out in the recording, you really don't. You really don't need to talk about a whole lot ever again.
What I might do is I might get the recordings and edit them myself, and put it onto a disc, and then assemble all the documents that are on P-Cloud onto a thumb drive, and then just sell the packet. Yeah. Even if I sold a couple a month, I would be able to at least not, have to redo it. And then, of course, I'll advance along the way and learn more as I go. And once I feel like I have enough to do something different, I'll do something different. But I could probably... So basically,
instead of having a 2-hour talk session, basically just have a 2-hour Q&A.
At that point, I could sell. Yeah, I could sell. The ideas, and then turn around and have, for the people that buy it, some private time or something. Right. To help, whether it's a couple hours or something. I don't know.
See, now what I'm getting at is why couldn't that be a club? And why couldn't that club be called, I don't know, the Society of the Sojourners, and basically run it like Amway, or any of these.
I know what you're saying. In other words, create a network.
Yeah.
The idea.
And once you're in the club, you're in the club. Here's your initiation fee. Yeah.
And it's private.
Yeah, and it's all private. And maybe that network produces a lot of freaking revenue, or not revenue, not income, not profit, just...
It can be whatever you want to call it, because their fucking terms don't apply once you're outside of it.
Yeah, once you're private, yeah. And because you're a member, now you can have here's your little, we had a lottery. Oh, yeah, we had 1,000 members. Everybody won. Look at that. You know?
Well, I thought of, I mean, again, I would rather do that with a golf product.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, I can see visually, I can see guys that love the game now having a business that's basically tied to golf.
Right.
Even though they never thought they could before. Now, you know, one product, you know, or you know, something that allows them to write off, because they're not going to get to this point, but to write off their golf junkets and business property, you know, new golf clubs, to write it all off as an expense to their business at this point. They're not going to do this. I mean, I don't think that we're ever going to get to a place where people understand this shit at the highest level, to where there won't be an IRS. I'm not even thinking about that. There's going to be very few people that get this stuff, and I'm okay with that. I'd rather have people enjoy their lives and not do this shit. You know.
Yeah.
This is just too much of a waste of time.
Well, you know, it's you're just learning a new tool. That's all. I mean, it's just like going to university. You know.
Well, I could assemble a bunch of stuff and have it out there forever, you know, for people. But I'd rather spend my time, and I'd rather assemble people that are enjoying their
right. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
You know, I mean, golf. I could put a golf product or golf network marketing business together where people are their advantage is, okay, they're not going to be free of the system, but they can at least write off their passion.
Right.
If their passion is golf, they can write off their clubs, their trips, all that shit. Because they're in a golf business, a network marketing business is based upon golf.
Right.
That's
I mean, ultimately, everybody should really just want... See, because when you're private, now all expense. I mean, I went and had a coffee. That's an expense.
It's not an expense because it's not. I mean, in the private world, there's no fucking expense.
Well, that's right.
Living.
See, but if they force you into that realm of business, everything that capital and labor does that day, since the moment its eyes open until the moment...
Yeah, but you can't go there because it doesn't... You're now mixing both worlds again. It doesn't happen. When you're private, you're private. There is no fucking mixing up.
Right.
I mean...
See, and that's what do they say about that? That's duty-free.
Well, it's just none of your business. I mean, whether I bought coffee, not bought coffee, made $10 million, made no money, it's none of their business. Right. Remember, it's either administrative.
Right.
And it is their business, be it administrative, or it's not their business, and they don't have anything to say about anything you're doing. Right. There is no mixing at that point.
Yeah. The private is the private, and the public, well, that's not the private.
I wouldn't even use those words. I mean, seriously, I don't care about public or private at that point because it's just mine.
Right.
See, and somebody says, well, what's yours is that? Fuck you. You know what? Try to take what's mine for the public at that point. I think that when you get to where you need to go, the government actually is protecting private. I think they're protecting it right now.
I think they are too.
But the problem is you don't have any. Well, you do, but I'm saying that people don't realize that none of it's theirs. Right.
It's
become a collective.
Well, that's what Trump said the other night to Congress. He said, he said it. I mean, it's all documented. It's all there. I mean, he's not lying to anybody about anything.
Right, but everybody decided to put their shit in a truck. I didn't.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why that.
And if it was mistakenly there, well, let's just remove that.
Well, that stupid little post today that I put about what was it about credit?
Credit, yeah. Creditor.
Why in the world? I mean, again, when somebody says, "Well, I'm the creditor," well, good for you. Guess what you just generated? You just generated a trust capacity.
That's right.
That also generated a debtor, but also a fiduciary responsibility.
That's right. And you're the trustee.
There you go. I mean, sorry, but now you've just hung yourself with your own stupid claim. You know what? I'm not a creditor. I am the fucking owner.
That's it.
I own, and you know what? Everything I do on one side, I charge off on the other. I actually am both the creditor and the debtor, and because that's what's funny is. But it's all immediate. It's a simultaneous charge-off, credit, everything. When I dig the hole, when I'm done digging the hole is manifest. I just created a hole, but I've also paid the price by my energy. So now I own the hole outright.
Right. Right.
It's incredible. I mean, see, there's no debt.
There is no debt.
In the present moment, which is I am, by the way, in the present moment there is no debt. And there's no creditor.
Yeah, that's that's a very simple concept.
And that's why you can't, if you say you're the creditor, you automatically generate a debtor.
Exclusively an absolute fee in all that you are.
Absolute, yeah. Be simple, absolute. Sorry, there is nothing beyond this moment for me. And by the way, because I claimed the moment I arrived back in Gregorian 3:50 a.m. 1960, September 19th,
right.
Guess what? Everything that was ever produced through I am, every moment that I traveled through that timeline, that's my claim as well.
That's right.
So now what I produce today, I get to keep. When I wake up tomorrow, I don't lose it to the yesterdays of the timeline.
Right. See, it's just it's wonderful that the paramount claim. Ultimately, the paramount claim and the 220 and a registration, man, and everybody's good to go. See, and maybe a Homestead Act in case only one of your partner, one of the people want to do this, because the marriage is basically the exclusive homestead to you.
I think they created a word though. That homestead concept is only for public property.
Oh yeah, I see. Yeah. Well, but if you're private and say your wife's public. Well,
but that won't happen because once you merge, I mean, everything of hers goes into the man.
Right.
So, but I mean, the homestead, the concept of the homestead, they created a public property position, and the afterbirth, everything left behind becomes what's granted back to you. So they're saying that this is public property, and we're giving you a land grant back to you, but it's your shit already.
Right.
But it's not, because remember that the maternal is not yours.
Right.
So that's where there is always going to be a weird-ass trust.
But as long as you're registered, you're good.
Now, when you register the vessel back to you or the mother's property back to you, now that's it. It's over with. There is no outside claim beyond yourself.
See, that's such a simple, once you break through all of these ignorant concepts to get to what was just expressed here. It really is white and black.
I'm going to cover that. I think I'm going to cover that Monday right off the bat. All this stuff that we talked about, because today, I mean, people don't realize it, but see, I talk about the afterbirth collectively as one thing, but it is two things.
It is.
And the funny thing is that even though it's two things, it really is only one thing. Why? Because the chorion is your property.
Right.
So there's really not two things in the afterbirth because you're a living man. So if you claim your position, your defined DNA, you're basically pulling the chorion out of the mix.
And then there's only one position.
Now there's only one thing left in the afterbirth, and that is mother's property, mother's DNA. And that's what gets the name. So Chris Richard Kallenbach calls always to the mother's property.
Right. Which is where they have their claim.
Which is where the trust is created. And they're saying that mom didn't claim this, but guess what? See, the chorion was also there in the afterbirth.
Right.
The chorion also can take that title.
There's your body attachment, right?
But if I claim my position, I also claim
There's
life.
no body attachment.
And now Sedicate I kicks in, and when a man proves life, he's revested with the title. So the fucking maternal afterbirth goes to zero, goes to nowhere. It's just gone.
Right.
Because now the chorion lays claim to the title.
Right, because it's absolute merger.
Because a man's alive.
That's right.
And once the man proves life, then the maternal side, the salvage boat disappears.
Right.
The Savior is not necessary because the Savior is I am.
See, ultimately, but now, well, no, because, when man proves life, he's revested with title. There is no, truly, with the Minnesota 220, there's no need to even register. Because that title's revested anyways.
I got that, but if you register...
Well, then you're allowed to be in commerce. Right.
There is nobody outside of you no matter what.
Right. And it does give you free, unfettered access to commerce.
You're reinvested with your title, but what is your title?
Right.
It's not the all caps. It's upper and lower case.
That's right. That's right.
And what they did is they mirror imaged it and created a ship of state, all caps, that looks like yours.
Right.
So what you're doing is you're making it where you're taking all of the ability. You're pulling the rug out from every single thing.
Right.
That they've generated, because they can't move once you have the ultimate claim or the absolute claim or fee simple.
That's right. That's right.
It's all yours at that point. You're not going to argue ever when the only thing that they would have to bring forward is the fucking afterbirth.
That's it. I mean, see, it really is now put up or shut up. You know, who does have the claim? And you better be able to prove it. Because I know I can prove it.
I think Minnesota 220 claims life and everything else, but the registered vessel is the commercial vessel.
Right.
It's not DNA.
No, and you have no right to that either.
No,
because that's exclusive their creation.
But what was placed on deposit for that vessel,
right,
is your property.
Right. Which is the indemnification of all of that.
It's the afterbirth. And it can go either way until you fucking claim the birth timeline.
Right.
If you don't claim it, it falls to the mother.
Right.
And the mother doesn't ever claim it, so it stays in trust forever because mom doesn't claim that shit.
That's right.
Until you claim through Minnesota 220, the name cannot come to you.
That's right.
It falls to mother. The afterbirth is where the title is. If you don't claim through 220, your position in that timeline, which is the beginning, you don't get the name.
Right.
The name goes with mother's property.
Right.
In the trust.
Right. Which they control.
Which they control through administrative process.
Right. That's fucking... What a good conversation this one was.
Yeah, well, now I'm going to go work out. Get rid of all this frustration. And then I got a couple other things to do today, but it's sunny out, so even though it's cold, I better go put some more wood on the fire. But even though it's cold, it's pretty outside, so.
Stoke her up. I wish I had one to stoke up.
All right, man, we'll probably, what is tomorrow? Tomorrow's Sunday. I'll give you a buzz probably in the morning or something.
Okay, well, you have a great day, and be well, brother.
All right, man. Talk to you.
Be well.
Okay, bye.
Bye.